I'll have to start again. I'll have to download 2 videos. The second bit is, this is a side project I've been doing. And it's an old frog model. And it's a Vultee Vengeance. I'm doing it in the markings of a Royal Australian Air Force version. I built one of these before years ago as well. That's not, I've just been painting that today. And that's a basic, it's an old frog kit, as I say. This leg's getting on my wick now. The screws come out. So that's coming along there. And another kit I've got on the side, which is this one, which I've painted today. Which is this one, which is a Republic F-105 Thunder Chief, known as the Third. Now I've sprayed the camouflage on with my airbrush, and I'm quite pleased with how it's come out. It's got a dark green, a light green, and a tan, and it's come out really good. And obviously it's grey underneath, which I've had to touch up today. I've got a right selection of underwing pylons to go on there, fuel tanks, there's 2 missiles. And I think there's a pod of some description, because it's the Wild Weasel version, radar suppression. But that's just a side one, that's coming along fine. I'll sort that out anyway. And what have I got now? This one, which is another side project. It's this. Which is a McDonnell Douglas FA-18D Hornet. Now I'm doing a what if. I'm doing this in the markings of a Royal Navy aircraft that flew from, or that would have flown, I hope, from HMS Queen Elizabeth. Now I'm not talking about the current Queen Elizabeth, I'm talking about the previous one, the CVA-01, that was cancelled by the Labour government in the 60s. Now bearing in mind that that ship probably wouldn't have come into service until the early 70s. Now the FA-18 Hornet come into service with the US Navy and Marine Corps about mid-80s. So I'm looking at the time zone, the Queen Elizabeth probably only would have been about 15 years old. Plenty of time, plenty of life left in her. And we would have went for this to replace the F4 Phantom. This is the D version, which is the 2-seat version. I just fancy doing that, just something different, and I'm going to do it hopefully landing on a carrier deck. I'll have to do some research for that though. And this, in my opinion, is one of 2 aircraft that should really be flying from the current Queen Elizabeth, but I'm not going to get into that because that's politics. I don't want to bore you silly, but that's my opinion anyway, instead of the F-35. But that's coming along. I'm going to do it in the same camouflage as the Phantoms, which was white underneath and dark slate grey on the top. A really nice what if. So that's that. Now we'll go into some kits that I'm going to do. Back a bit. As I'm sitting there. Right. I've got a couple of kits that I fancy doing. There's this one, which today, this year being the 100th anniversary of the Battle of Jutland. It was in, I think it was May, April or May. I'm going to do this, which is HMS Iron Duke, which actually was present at the Battle of Jutland, obviously. And this is, well, this is classic Roy Cross box art. A full, that's on a broadside. The forward gun's firing, it looks great and it's steaming, and the shells, really good fair artwork. So I'll be doing that. I haven't made a warship for years. I made an ocean liner, I think it was a couple of years ago, the Mauritania, which is over there, but I haven't made a warship for about 25 years, so it'll be really something to get really into. And this one, which is a Bedford MWD. Now what I'm going to do with this is, with the Dakota, build this and put it on a diorama with like a runway, because it'll be a big runway, and put it as though it's unloading or loading Ruskin Air Services Dakota, because in the very last episode of this series he participates in the Berlin airlift, so I'm going to base it around there. It's something that I fancied doing, that I thought about when I was going to do that, so that might be good, but it's not actually part of the group build. It's something I'm going to add on, and hopefully I might possibly get it done for Telford this year, hopefully. I've never made one of these. I don't think I've ever made one like a truck like that. Be something different anyway, so that's what I've got planned for that. And that's keeping us going for now. Hopefully I've got a bit more time now and get into some more modelling. So that's my, well, it'll be 2 videos. So that's my videos for tonight, and hopefully it'll not be too long before I make another video. What I'll do is, I'll do an inbox review of those 2 kits, possibly next week, before I start them anyway, because I want to get the other ones finished before I start. I don't want to have too many. I like to have at least 3 or 4 kits on the go, but if you get to about 7 or 8 you're piled up and you're thinking, oh well, I'll leave that, and it goes and you forget about it, like I have done with this. This was meant to be for a recce group build off, oh god, who was it? Tactical Jackalope about 1.5 years ago, and it's just been left. Liberator Mark IV of Coastal Command. But I'm doing, when I can be bothered with it, it's sort of in the background, out of sight, out of mind type of thing. But I don't want to do too many kits in case it gets left like that. But I will actually get that finished sometime this year, or this century. Right, so that's me done for tonight, and I'll happy modelling to all you modellers out there on YouTube land and on Facebook, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Bye now.